Hello, everyone. You're listening to Spanish Podcast. I'm Molly.
And I'm Toni.
And today we are talking about being bilingual, or in Tony's case, multilingual.
Trilingual, if you may.
Trilingual. Well, you can say the multi.
No, because I'm literally trying. Like I get stuck. So trilingual is the most accurate one.
TRY.
Yeah.
But before we get into the topic, we just want to remind you to subscribe if you're not already subscribed, comment, and share our content.
Don't be embarrassed. Don't hold back. Just spam our stuff around the globe.
We love it. We appreciate it. Okay, so the reason for this topic was because Toni and I were discussing the other day, does being bilingual or multilingual make you better than the people around you that don't speak or that only speak one language or that, I guess, don't know the culture that they're surrounded by? Would that be an accurate thing to say?
Maybe easy to differentiate, or rather, it's easy to tangle together knowing the language and knowing the culture. Like they're usually tied together. So when you're a foreigner in a new country, one comes with the other. Yes, sometimes it's literally, how do I say pizza? Which, by the way, shouldn't be so hard. The other thing is, why do you guys eat supper at 10 o'clock in the evening? And how do I say supper? Well, there's the name for it, anad, and origin, blah, blah, blah. They go together. The core here is, do you want to be seen as ignorant, or do you want to be seen as, I guess, non-ignorant? Then you need to get a bit of both.
Correct. Yeah. But I guess just the sentiment of feeling superior or better than someone from your country that doesn't know the language or doesn't know the culture, and kind of why you might feel that way. So I found a Reddit thread that asked, do you feel superior to those who only know one language? I guess, Toni, my question to you would be, what do you think about that? Or have you thought about it further?
Short answer, yes. I feel superior.
Do you feel better than me because you speak 3 languages and I only speak 2?
When you put it like that, yes, I do. But how well do I speak the different languages and when do I need them? Like, context is key. When I'm in Norway, I'm rarely focusing on talking in Spanish. Like, there's no one to
Right.
do it with. No one will be impressed. I don't really care. I know that I'm going to go back to my life here. I don't expect anyone to understand either. The question is more, when are you quote unquote showing this off? And it becomes such a clear contrast when you, as a foreigner, are in a country with another foreigner from your country, but you are the one speaking the local language. Obviously, you're going to be looked at some superhero.
I just think there's a lot of videos now in social media showing like Americans coming to Europe and how annoying they are because they don't know the culture, they don't speak the language. And now I can look at those videos and laugh with them instead of being laughed at.
You switched sides.
Exactly. Like I can share those videos now with a clear conscience of I'm no longer in that camp of only speaking English and having no idea that that people in Spain don't eat paella every day for dinner.
Realized once when I was observing a foreigner stumbling through some basics that the Spaniards around me, to me, were surprisingly understanding and patient towards that foreigner. And it made me realize it's important to differentiate between someone who's fresh off the boat, they just came off the airplane, they barely spent any time in that country, they're totally new to both language and culture. That's a different thing than someone who has been here X amount of years, but they don't put in the effort. They don't really care about the integrating. Respect isn't a word that comes to mind. And people know the difference. And I needed to be conscious about that myself once I started to being able to have basic conversations. It's like, hold your horses, Toni. You're not that much better. Like the key here is, are you trying or not?
Right. Effort is a huge part of it, I think. Also, I think because I have a Spanish partner and because you've had Spanish partners, that is an advantage. That's something that a lot of people don't have. And so it's really an advantage. It's not me. It's nothing I did. It's just my situation that allows me to level up, basically.
Yes, it's a insanely huge advantage. I will put that if you look at physical exercise, on one hand, someone goes to the gym 3 times per week, they do weight lifts for 30 minutes. It's a good thing, but that's 1.5 hours per week. And then you have the farmer who works a minimum of 10, 12 hours a day physical labor. He doesn't lift weights, but he has insane amount of workout throughout a week, even though it wasn't structured as workout. Yeah, so if you look at learning languages the same way, you're not going to classes like you are going, but someone who's not going to classes, but they're stuck at the family-in-law's house, and like the only thing to do is just try and understand and survive.
So I guess rather than feeling superior, I just want to realize that I'm in a situation that a lot of people don't get, like a privileged place where I can see the language and the culture from the inside. And so that's what I would say. I don't think I'm better, but I do find myself in a situation where I'm lucky, I guess. I should be thankful and grateful to be where I am.
You are privileged, yes. Not everyone has the option of going and finding a partner who speaks the native language.
And helps me manage all the paperwork and
Oh, God,
dealing with
yeah.
the government stuff. Customer service.
Hey, have you talked with any customer services lately? I'm curious.
By myself?
Yes. You calling someone and says, ayúdame, like help me.
Yes. I did with
Yeah.
Glowo. Yes.
Hey.
My boyfriend was working, so I had to answer the phone by myself, and I knew it was Glowo. So they told me like, "Hey, we don't have this, so we're going to cancel your order." And I understood everything. I said, "Okay," and I'll reorder something else, and I didn't die. So I
Very
think the
well
person
done.
on the phone was a foreigner as well, though. So
Just 2 foreigners.
I always understand foreigners better than
Oh,
native Spanish people.
they're a lot more articulate and they use more basic words.
Correct. Yes. And speak a little bit slower. So, what about you? Have you had to deal with customer service recently?
About a month ago, my car broke down and I had to call insurance.
Oof.
And I asked, "Do you speak English?" She's like, "No. Do you want me to transfer you?" And I said, "Let's just try." And she was patient and everything worked out. We called like the tow truck. What do you call it? The grua, I think. That guy came, very Spanish as well, kind of slangy ish. He was like, yeah, mid 40. He was talking fast, using expressions, but he saw that I was a foreigner. So he was like, no, no, no. And then it like just repeated himself like 2 times, but saying it differently. And everything worked
Okay.
out. And we even went to one car shop and we could not leave the car there. So we had to figure out, okay, what do we do with the car? And everything in Spanish, Mal. Everything in Spanish. We're doing this, Mal. We're integrating. I'm so proud of us.
Every day feels like you're just camping with very minimal resources.
I love the metaphor.
It's like a torture tactic, basically, that we're living in. It's good. We're learning, it's building character.
Learning by doing.
So I also wanted to bring another Reddit to the table.
Mhm.
And the question is, why is monolingualism in America treated like such a problem? So this is what the writer says. I always hear Americans and non-Americans alike bashing Americans for being monolingual and not being interested in studying foreign languages. But why should this be such an embarrassment? Unlike in Europe, we won't wind up in an entirely different culture if we decide to travel more than 100 miles. Okay, that's a little dramatic. Our television programming isn't dominated by foreign language movies and TV shows like it is in many parts of the world. Tourism is not a major part of our economy, and the tourists that do come, and most of the world in general, already speak passable English. Unless we're interested in travel or work in international business, I think that most Americans can successfully go through their entire life without ever needing to use a second language. I don't think our monolingualism is due to laziness or lack of interest as much as it is due to the fact that we live in a very large country and already speak the international language. Am I in the wrong? Can someone convince me why Americans should be embarrassed by monolingualism? What do you think?
I am a victim of circumstance. I learned Spanish because I moved to Spain. I learned English in Norway because we import so much content, both from the UK and from the US. Pop culture in general is dominated by English speaking artists. That's why I speak Norwegian, English, and Spanish. Had I lived all my life in US, I would probably just be speaking English. I understand this person completely. I'm not a language nerd. I became interested because one, necessity, two, you start meeting people from other countries again. So picking up a phrase here and there to banter a bit or kind of catch them by surprise. It's fun. And again, it's a tool to use in social settings. The social settings she's referring to, it's just English. So why bother? I totally get that way of thinking.
I was always ashamed about it, honestly. Especially once I started meeting people that did speak more than one, like people from other countries or people that spoke Spanish and English or whatever it was. I do think that our we could be a little bit more cultured, putting a heavier emphasis on learning languages because a lot of people in the US have grandparents or parents that came directly from a different country that speak a different language. And the thing is that in the US, if you are speaking a language other than English, it's kind of looked down upon in a way. Like
Mhm.
you are seen as an immigrant and likely with less money or whatever. There's a stigma against speaking something other than English. And a lot of people will say, like, this is America, you need to speak English, you know? Which I hate when people say, but
I guess context matters. What you just said there, someone being the second or third generation, let's say Italian, but living in the US, kind of makes sense to pick up some vocabulary from a heritage. I don't know how many hundred years of generations my family, my ancestors go back in the same fjords, in the same damn fjords.
mhm.
So I have like no way to relate to that way of thinking. I don't have
Yeah.
children. If I have children in the future and it's with someone who's not Norwegian and it's here in Spain, I would make a conscious decision that some of this will be infused. You don't have to talk like a native Norwegian, but you're going to be exposed to some. If not, you'll lose your heritage.
Well, and you said, like, as a kid, you were exposed to English a lot and you were also learning Norwegian at the same time. I think
Mm.
that matters. I think just surrounding the kids with multiple languages will be helpful, but we don't do that in the US.
But you mentioned that you have felt embarrassed previously of not speaking a second language. Was it Spanish specifically or just a second language?
I would say no, I don't know. I would feel embarrassed when I would travel to like South America, for example, and not be able to get around at all or speak to anyone without breaking into English. I guess
Mm.
that was my main thing because if you're living in the US, you do not need to speak any other language. You know, it's just speaking Spanish, it's just not necessary, I guess, basically.
But would the feeling of embarrassment come from reverting to English or reverting to your native tongue?
What do you mean?
You said, as an example, not being able to get around in South America without reverting to English. The
Mm.
feeling of frustration, embarrassment, whatever, is it from one, not speaking the native language there? Is it from two, going to English, which is like the widely international language? Or is it three, going back to your native tongue? Because those are three different emotions or three different reasons for feeling that frustration.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking of one specific trip that I went to Peru, and it was I don't know. I guess it was difficult because there were some people that didn't speak English. I guess it was embarrassing that, or embarrassing's not the word. It was just difficult and uncomfortable. Did that trip spark me to want to learn Spanish? Absolutely not. Because it's hard. It's hard to put yourself in a very low position and have a terrible accent. And I think the people that learn a language without needing it they're amazing. They're beyond belief for me.
I have so much admiration and respect for those. Shout out to Mario. Mario, our Croatian friend living in Croatia and learning Spanish just because he wants to. It's amazing.
And Shelby. We can give a
Oh,
shout out to Shelby
okay, Shelby as well. Yeah.
in the
Kind of
US.
forgot, kind of forgot about her. Yeah.
You
I
don't
mean,
need Spanish in those countries, and they're fluent in
yes.
Spanish, so good for them. Yeah, I guess. So you don't see Americans as lazy for not learning a different language?
I guess they are the same way I was lazy as well at some point. Again, I'm a victim of circumstance. I can relate to the American monolingualism. Like if it doesn't interest you, if you don't need it, why should you? So many other things to learn in life and focus on. And dude, if you're an antisocial dude who just wanna go about your day. We all have our strengths. We all have our weaknesses. I'm not going to judge in this
Mm.
general context. But when I'm out and about and I see a foreigner who doesn't give a F and yeah, is just stuck in a situation, then I will judge you silently.